Hello angels, welcome back to Caffeinated Nurse. If you're new here, my name is Faiza. I'd be more than happy if you join the family. A big thank you to my returning subscribers. Thank you so much for the support and the love. On today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 4 simple tips that you can implement so that you can pass your nursing licensure exam. And with that said, let's just get into it. The tips that I'm going to be sharing with you today will not only help you to prepare for the NCLEX or the NCK exam, it will also help you prepare for the regular exams that you do in school. At this point, I know you already know the structure of the questions that are usually in the NCLEX or the NCK examination, so it will be easier for you to figure out how you can study for that exam. As I always say in this channel, these are the tips that I have already implemented and others I didn't get to use them, but I'm pretty sure that they are going to be useful for you. And the first tip of the day is make a purchase of the study materials that you're going to be using. If you already have them, that's fine. You don't have to make any more purchases. But if you feel like there's other things that you're going to be needing, then go ahead and just buy them. Personally, if you already have the study materials, I'll just have to buy something else. I just need that satisfaction of using something new. I don't know how or why it works for me, but it does. So if you're like me, then go ahead and buy yourself some stuff. When I was preparing myself to start studying for my licensure exam, that is NCK in Kenya, I bought some few things that I felt they will be useful while I was doing that. So today I'll just show you some of the few things that I used and explain how and why I felt like I needed to use. The first thing that I bought was a ream of foolscaps. I don't like writing my study notes on a notebook. It feels heavy when I start going through them again. That is the most discouraging thing for me, to feel like I have so much to cover, like the content that I have is too much. That's why I preferred to write my notes on a foolscap. And I also bought an office file. This was useful to me because I needed a place to put my foolscaps in. And the office file that I bought was this one. I bought about 5 or 4 files, I can't remember very well. The files helped me to also categorize the studies. In one folder, I will put the notes that I have written for med-surg, pathophysiology, anatomy and physiology. I will put them in one folder or in one file. Things like research in nursing, midwifery, I will put them in a different folder. This was to help me keep track of the notes that I was writing while I'm studying. If you know me too well, you just know that I am colorful, I love color and all. If you're like me, you can also use the same. And I also used these sticky notes. I just used the 3 of them. I didn't feel the need to buy more colors, but if I could, I would. I also bought this type of sticky notes. There are some textbooks that I use to study, so I will use them like a bookmark so that I can know where I left off. You can also use other kinds of stationery like highlighters. I also use that, only that I don't have them here, but I will use them to review my notes after I have written them. The second tip is that you identify the study time or formulate a study schedule. You should do this preferably when you feel the most energetic. If you are a morning person, then study at that time. If you are a night or evening person, then study at that time. I will recommend that you use the Pomodoro technique. If you don't already know what that is, that means you are a beginner at this technique. What it basically means is that you study for about 25 minutes or so and take a 5-minute break. The 25 minutes should be intense focus with no distractions like at all, and the 5 minutes should be an active break, which means that you're not supposed to go through your phone during your break. Do something actively, like doing some stretches, taking a walk, going to take a snack. Just get up and get your body moving. When this 5-minute break is over, then you can continue with the 25-minute study time and 5 minutes break and continue with the cycle. But if you feel like 25 minutes is not enough, you can do up to 45 minutes or even 1 hour. There is no limit. Do what you feel like is good for you. While you're studying with the small chunks of time, then make sure that you've studied about 2 to 4 hours a day or even more. It all depends on what you feel is your limit. The third tip is active recall. Active recall can be something like answering questions related to the topic you've just studied. Active recall is important because it will help you identify the areas, your weak areas that you need to go through again. It will also help you identify the strong areas that you don't have to go back to immediately. As it is in the name, active recall, it will help your brain to recall information easily while you're involving your brain. Just a reminder that active recall does not involve you taking a book and reading it like a novel, trying to remember the things that you have read without looking at your notes or referring to back to your notes, or even answering questions without having to look at the answers. This is a good way to implement repetition, and with repetition, it in turn contributes to retention. It will be helpful for you to go through questions that have similar structure as those in the NCLEX or in the NCK. As you're doing this, you'll get familiar with these types of questions, so you don't get overwhelmed when you're doing your exam. And if you're lucky enough, some of the questions will be repeated in the paper, and for sure know the answers directly. And lastly, engage in activities that will help you improve your memory. These are just simple things that we normally do throughout the day. They could include having enough sleep. If you're a night person or evening person, make sure that you have time for you to study and also have time for you to get enough sleep. That's between 6 to 8 hours. And also eat properly. Don't eat too little because then you'll not have the energy to study. Anything that actively involves your brain, it consumes so much energy. Make sure that you have just eaten enough. So don't eat too much, then that will make your brain and your body to slow down. Then you'll just feel sleepy and exhausted. Then you'll not have a productive day. As you're creating your study schedule, make sure that it's not a fixed schedule, because at times you'll need to switch things up so that you avoid creating a cliche or a routine. The moment things start feeling like a routine, then they become boring and you're not even excited to do whatever thing that you had planned to do. Even in a study area, try to identify at least 2 or 3 study areas that you can keep on switching every now and then. These are just but a few tips that will help you study. If you need more tips, I had posted them in my first video, so just go ahead and check it out. If you are a student nurse and you feel like I have not stated some of the things that you use to do your studying, you can just type them in the comment section and someone else going through the comments can see what you use, and in turn we can help each other out. And don't be stingy. You can also share this video with a friend so that they can also gain. Studying for the NCK or the NCLEX exam can be very stressful, and if you feel like you need someone to talk to or you need some help with something, I'm always available. And with that, I'll just leave a link to my Instagram. You can DM me anytime and I'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it will be helpful for you. All the best in your exam and see you in the next week. Bye.